Hey everyone, Tank Sign here. It's Weak Spot Wednesday, and in today's video I'll be going over all the best weak spots in the Panther tanks, including both against the normal turrets and a quick look at how to defeat this Panther F/Panther 2 small term turrets. I'll be going over all the shots that you should be able to make with both average cannons and the cannons you might be using in higher BRs versus the Panthers. That said, let's get into it. So, as an overview, the Panther is a German medium tank that sits at between 5.3 and 6.7 BR in realistic, depending on the variant, and has been causing problems for many War Thunder players ever since ground forces were released. It is an absolute terror and is seemingly invulnerable from the front with average cannon rounds from the time period. Hopefully, with this video, you'll realize that it's not invulnerable and actually quite an easy target if you know where to hit. So, that said, I'll give you the 4 best shots that you can take, being that there are only about 4 good areas to shoot, with the first 3 shots being if you have upwards of around 130 millimeters of armor pen in your current situation when taking into account approximate distance and angle, and the last shot is if you have more advanced ammo such as Heat FS or some type of Sabo, or simply you have a substantial amount of armor pen, typically over 200 millimeters. There will be some gameplay showing Panther kills and damage towards the end of this video, illustrating the type of shots that I'm about to describe. That said, let's go over the best shots for anyone wanting to kill the Panther tanks, starting with the lower pen shots that almost anyone can make. So, for number 1, probably the best shot to take against the Panther in really almost every single German medium/heavy tank between 5.0 and 7.0 BR is the side shot. Specifically hit the side of the hull, as it is likely going to be filled with ammo. As you can see here, ammo and ammo. These are not small rounds either. This is true across all Panther models, from the D to the Panther 2. If you can shoot the center of the side of the hull just above where the plates protecting the treads end, you will almost always hit ammo and blow that Panther sky high. So as you can see here, right above these plates, right where the hull is, just shoot right there, especially in the center, and you will destroy it. Now, the best ammo to use against this is explosive-filled ammo, such as APCBC, but Heat/Heat FS are also usable. Do not try to use the APCR, as it will overpen and likely not cause nearly as much damage on the interior as explosive-filled ammo, even if the Panther's ammo rack doesn't blow. To this, the other benefit to this shot is, if the aforementioned ammo rack does not blow, it also has an awesome chance of killing the entire crew. And for number 2, the second shot, possibly the most likely shot, unless of course you're flanking, will be the frontal shot, specifically on the turret. Avoid shooting the upper glacis, otherwise known as the frontal hull armor, when you have anything less than a short 200 millimeters of armor pen. This said, the front of the turret is weakest where the cannon mantlet crests, and is also weak to the side of the mantlet where the turret face is entirely exposed. Additionally, you can shoot under the mantlet where the turret ring is housed, but this is a slightly more difficult shot to make. And I'll show you right here. So you go to armor. This shows about 100 millimeters of armor, but if you take it to the protection analysis, it is a bit less. You do not want to shoot here, because not only is the armor much better, but if you're using anything even close to that, it's probably going to ricochet. But right here, it's more or less a flat face. Especially right here, it is a flat-faced angle, and it's really just an awesome kill shot. Now, if you're lucky and you're facing a Panther D, you may be able to hit the shot trap on it, which could deflect around right into the tank hull itself and wipe out the crew. So this right here is the Panther G, but the Panther D has the shot trap, and the Panther G has a chin here specifically designed to stop the shot trap from deflecting rounds into the hull. That was an actual German design in World War II to fix that. And just do not rely on this shot. However, as again, the Panther Model G fixed this flaw and added the flat chin, as you can see right here, to the base of the mantlet, which also creates better turret armor. It does have actually better turret armor on the Panther G. This said, though the armor might seem high on the turret face, typically all tanks from 5.3 BR and up can shoot through this with ease and take out the fighting portion of the crew of the Panther, leaving it dead in the water. The best ammo to use for this will be APC-BC, but APCR and or HEAT-FS are also usable in emergencies. An alternative to this shot is to hit the cupola on top of the turret to kill the commander and hopefully kill or damage the other crew, though this is not as effective, and really, again, this should only be seen kind of as a last-ditch effort because, again, you can shoot through it, but well, that's a lucky shot, but you're not always going to get that shot. More likely than not, this will be your shot. Oh, well, look at that. You're still killing things. So the commander cupola, it's not going to cause quite as much damage as the interior shot will if you just kind of shoot the side of the turret. Much of the time, not always. Additionally, this is also a great shot right here. But again, this is going to be a very common shot and something that you're going to want to master. Try it out in test drive mode because, again, this is a big time shot. The third best shot to make against the Panthers likely going to be the side or the rear of the turret. Now this shot likely won't result in an ammo rack explosion, but will be the second best way of disabling the Panthers' gunner, loader, and commander. The angles on the side of the turret will sometimes make this a tricky shot, especially in limited visibility, but the height of the Panther as well as the additional height of the turret makes this a shot that you might be able to make if the side hole shot is not available. Additionally, being that the regular Panthers have only a 75mm cannon, albeit a really good 75mm cannon, the cannon breech is not so large that it will absorb all rounds, meaning that a good shot in the side of the turret will almost always take out the 3 crew members sitting inside, as well as possibly damage or kill the others in the hull. APC-BC ammo is easily the best ammo to use for this shot. So a good example of it, maybe a tank that the Germans might face would be let's just say the Black Cat right here with the 76mm. Shoot right through, and as you can see, it damages 3 people, but if you shoot below the cannon breech, going to hit that, you can get yourself a total kill against the tank just by shooting the side of the turret, depending again on the angle and exactly where you shoot. So this is a nasty shot. It's not going to be your most common shot, but a shot that you will be glad to take, especially because it's going to kill that gunner. Now for the final shot, of which I recommend if you have a high amount of armor pen or advanced ammo. The Frontal Glaz shot. This shot is almost exclusively going to be available to tanks at the middle to upper end of the Panther's BR range. For sheer power, the SU-122P is a good example, as it can pen the front from a good range of angles and at a really just an excellent distance. So let's put this up to around 800 meters, put it at a nice side shot, not a side shot, but a nice angled shot right here, and it just goes right in and destroys most of the crew. And you can say that for almost any of these shots. One shot a lot of people might argue for right here is to shoot where the cupola, or not the cupola, where the MG port is. That's not a bad shot of last resort, but really it's just a lucky shot, and you're probably not going to hit that with regular gun tolerances. Now the PT-76B can also pen the front, but with HEAT-FS, as that type of round will cut through it like butter. So I'll just show you right here, the PT-76B is a slightly lower BR tank, but as you can see, with almost any HEAT-FS round, it'll just shoot right in there and just cut through again like butter. And if you have a good enough shot, you can take out the entire crew. And likewise, for the Sable rounds offered by the English tanks, those can again just outright destroy the Frontal Glazes. So Centurion tanks, for example, the Black Prince, those can just outright annihilate this thing. Both the Sabo and HEAT-FS, however, do not have great post-pen spread patterns typically, so they may not result in an instant kill like a high-pen APC-BC round will. For this shot, aim between the middle of the glacis and the top of the glacis to ensure that your round is not obstructed by anything, including the transmission, as this is very large in the Panther and sits a little high again in the Panther tanks. The Panther 2 will require another 30 to 40 millimeters of armor pen with APC-BC due to the angle of the armor. I'll just kind of briefly show you that right here. So it shows around 130 millimeters of armor pen. If you're facing a Panther 2, it goes up to around 160. It is just a much tougher nut to crack, and even though that might not seem like a lot, 30 millimeters, especially with the increase in PR, that can cause some issues, especially when it comes to ricochets at a range or at an angle, just because ultimately you're not going to be facing a tank at perfectly 10 meters and 0 degrees. It's just not going to happen. You're more likely than not going to have a pretty thick amount of armor that you're going to have to shoot through if you don't get ricocheted. Now, for how to defeat the small term turrets, otherwise known as the Panther F/Panther 2 turrets. It's quite simple. Aim at either the bottom left or the bottom right corner of the turret with explosive filled ammo and have at it. Shooting the bottom right will typically be more effective, as that side contains both the gunner and commander, as opposed to just the loader on the left side. If shooting from the side of the turret, simply treat it the same as regular Panther tanks, but do not shoot it at a high angle, as the likelihood for a ricocheted shot is far higher with the Panther F and Panther 2 against the turret. And for tactics on how to defeat the Panthers, it's quite simple as well. If they're mobile, realize that the tanks themselves move far faster than their turrets can turn, and as such can be defeated by simply moving slightly to stay out of their sights, as they likely will not be able to track you. This works especially well with the M4s and other American tanks that now have their buffed stabilizers, as they can now maintain a 24 km/h top speed while aiming accurately. If the Panther is stationary, try circling around it, especially if you have a faster tank. If this is impossible, shoot its huge treads and either flank them while they're immobile or let your allies finish them off. Never get in front of that cannon, as it can easily destroy tanks several BRs above it. That all said, thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, as it helps my channel way more than you could ever know. On that note, I want you all to be excellent to each other and have a great day. Take care, everyone.